Hi, I'm Jesse Prather with Jesse Prather Motorsports, and let's talk about switches today. There's a million different ways you can do it, and honestly, I wouldn't necessarily say that any one way is right or wrong, but depending on the class that you're running in, and depending upon your budget, what you do and do not prefer to have in your race car can make a big difference on how you wire it up and what you can and cannot do in certain classes. So depending on the different class that you're running in, you can and cannot do certain things. So for example, in a touring class, you have to run the complete dash, and you are going to use a switch with a key, right? Just like in your street car. And then as you progress up to some of the different classes, whether it be production, Formula cars, GT, or whatever, you have a lot more options. In my personal car, I prefer to keep things a little simpler with individual switches for each function, but with the introduction of the PDMs and integration into the ECUs and dashes that we have today, it's also a really good way to go. I'll buy also quite a bit more money as well, but they do work really well as opposed to, say, your standard fuses and relays. With a PDM, you get everything internal, you know, solid state, just like your modern PC would be as well. One of the neat integrations that you have with an AIM dash, and I'm a big proponent of these AIM dashes, is that I can CAN bus everything from the ECU over into the dash, and it gives me everything that the ECU says, and the AIM will record everything. So I've got my ignition here, my fuel pump here, and my rain light here, and then my starter button here. And obviously my Flagtronics right here where I can reach it and get to it. And it's simple and easy. And that's the way I like my cars. So one of the biggest differences in between a simple switch panel like what I have here and a full-blown PDM is cost. So I can buy these aircraft switches for literally $25 a piece. And I have 5 of them in the car. So we have a total investment switch-wise, you know, of between $125 and $150. To do a full-blown PDM for your car with a dash panel, you're going to spend north of $1,000 to install this in your car. In my personal opinion, the more failure points you have, the more failures you're going to have. So we try and decrease our failure points by keeping things as simple as possible. The PDMs have been very reliable, but you wouldn't want to sacrifice a race weekend in order to put a PDM in your car when you can put some switches in and get going racing today versus waiting. Because honestly, when it comes to racing, track time is the most important key. So whatever fits your budget, get out there and get racing.